resting in the Lord. And I know that when Jesus wanted to rest, he would get away by himself. Back in those days, you didn't have cell phones and all the modern technology. Today, it's harder to rest because of that. People needing things, they're endless. And it seems like if you help one person, everybody else in the world wants you to come and help them as well. And you can only spread so much, you know. Pretty soon your stuff will be spread so thin it looks like it's not even there. But what should we do about that? You know, I just say keep at it the best you can. Pray, man. You gotta pray, and you have to keep going. You have to keep doing what you know is that right thing to do, and finding new ways. Get people to help you. Point people to other people. If you can't help right then, you know, just point them to a direction of somebody that you think might be able to help them. You know, and but if there's a time in our lives when we really need to rest, man, it's when we get drug out, when we get sick, when we get down. And yeah, I want to encourage you in this. When you're sick and when you're down, you know, do what you can to help people. And if there's something that you can't do right away, don't feel bad about it. Yeah, there's people hurting. I go right here in this trailer park, and I can find all kinds of people that need help. It could keep me busy 24 hours a day. The fact is that God expects those people to get up and do some things on their own, to try to follow good instruction. You know, I told my sister the other day, I said, do this to your lawnmower and see if it works. And she had water in the tank, and I instructed her how to get that out. And sometimes you just got to take that tank off, and I was telling her that, and I know that sometimes a lady has a little trouble with that stuff, but this morning she calls me at 7 o'clock. Now, 7 o'clock is like almost the middle of the night for me. You know what I mean? And I was trying to find that place in the Bible where Jesus talked about if a man gets you up in the night and then after you've went to bed and says, I need a loaf of bread, a stranger come to my house, whatever, you know. And should you rise up and go give him bread? And the Lord said you should, you know. And maybe even if you had to bake it, to give it to him. But you know, if the man, you know, if it's like this, if the man said, you woke him up and said, okay, I got some bread in there, go get it. Well, I don't want that bread. I want new bread. Go make me some fresh bread. Get out of bed. And you're tired and sick from helping people all week long already, you know. Well, I don't know. I think maybe the Lord would tell him to go make his own bread or something, you know. I'm not really sure exactly. But I know this. The world will strip you of every possession that you have if you let them. Now listen, I had an uncle who was a con artist. He would go park his car by the road, and he would pretend like he had no gas in his car. And this happened this was probably 60, 70 years ago he did this. Closer to 60. And he would be real pitiful to people. Lie to them. Tell them how many kids he's got. He's out of gas and this and all that. And get them to fill up his tank. And give him all kinds of food and money, whatever he could get from the passerbys. You know, he'd just set his car out there, and that's how he would earn his living. And none of it would be true, just lying, you know. And now, I'm not saying everybody that needs help is like this, but sometimes the people that need help are partially like this. I know another young lady who she comes down when she just runs out of goodies, you know, and cries, and she'll do stupid things, and then when she gets messed up in it, she'll act like her world has come to an end until somebody helps her, you know. And so it's not like she don't need help, but it's like she's partially needing help and wanting people to mend up her ways of living wastefully. Now, I don't think God wants us to do that, you know. It's like this: if the man had some bread at home, but it was the bread was older, and he knew that you had good fresh bread already, come and woke you up, you know. And if you knew the man was like that, had a habit of doing that, you know, should you give him the bread? You know, I'm going to let you answer that one for yourself. I think everybody's got some common sense. And I'll tell you what I did now. A fellow borrowed $100 from me, and I give him every chance in the world to pay it back. He didn't ask for it freely. He says, I'm going to borrow it and I'll pay it back such and such a time. Well, the time came and never paid it back. And I went to his house and made a new time and never paid it back. And I don't know how many times we've done that. And finally, I went to his house, and he says, I got a check in my pocket. I said, well, good, let's go cash it. He made an excuse why he couldn't go cash it. He didn't want to give me that money, you know, even though he owed it to me. And he did a lot of people in our church like that. And he was just a con artist coming in, lying, robbing from good people, the nature of good people. You know, a lot of people would do that. And I think those folks, that's just as much of a crime. We have a law in this area that's called theft by deception. If you go to an old man's house and you keep borrowing money and never pay it back, keep borrowing money, go and tell him pitiful stories and borrow money, the state will step in this area and file charges against you and put you in jail and make you pay that man's money back. Okay? And that's what I'm talking about. You know, if the state has good enough sense to see when somebody's getting ripped off, surely God does, you know. And too much times we're wasting our energies helping people that don't really care. And I know Jesus, He's a lot smarter than that. He knows who to help, and He's more sharper than we are. We just got to do the best that we can in working in these areas of helping and trying to get people to realize a good thing. And I'll tell you what, we're probably going to get ripped off 50% of the time, but maybe the other 50% not. And just once you find out somebody is like that, cut them off, you know, just cut them off, or take them to the side and talk to them about it, and confront them, let them know who they are, you know, like I did with that fellow with the money. And you know what, he didn't borrow any money from the people in our church again after I took him to the cleaners, and he spent more money trying to get away from me than he would if he had ever had just paid me back, you know. And that's the way those kind of folks are. It's amazing how much they can come up with when they really have to, when they really see their own need. And I think maybe that's what God's trying to get us to do. In the long run, He's just trying to get us to, when troubles come our way, He's trying to get us to use our resources that we have. And I think maybe if we really try, we're going to find out we have a lot more resources than what we think. You know, but my kids, they seem to like pull things out of thin air that I just don't seem to be smart enough to do. My daughter, she can get a house anywhere, and I have trouble. Excuse me, I have trouble with. I just don't move around a lot, you know, and I just don't know those areas. But it seems like I'm finding out. You know, I'm finding out. With the Lord's help, we'll make it. Okay. Alrighty. So God bless, and stretch your resources. And we'll see you again next time with another great subject right here, Crossing the Middle Ministry. God bless.